Chicago has two super tall observation decks. They're both located downtown and both offer majestic views of the Windy City. However, if you're only visiting for a few days, realistically, you should just ascend one. So of the two, 360 Chicago and Skydeck Chicago, which one should you choose? What's good, YouTube? I'm Louis Gusto. Welcome back to Chicago. Today we're taking a look at two of the Windy City's most popular tourist attractions, Skydeck Chicago and 360 Chicago, each located in an architectural icon. Before we start the comparison, I will say that no matter which one you choose, Skydeck or 360, you're gonna have a great time. There's no doubt about that. Whether you're traveling solo, on a first date, with your significant other, the wife and kids, your church group, your choir, subreddit, fantasy football league, co-workers, the neighbors that you don't quite get along with, smoke buddies, or the cast of Abbott Elementary. Now, I've been to both of these observation decks many times in my life, and I will say I love them both equally. From a bird's eye view, these observation decks may seem exactly the same, but they actually differ quite a lot. Which one you should give your hard-earned cash to depends on what you're looking for, and that's what we're gonna dig into in today's video. First of all, let's start off with the similarities between these two observation decks. They're each located in an architectural icon closely associated with the Windy City. If you watch any movie or television show about Chicago, chances are good that you're gonna see these two buildings. The Sears Tower and the John Hancock Center are the #1 and #5 tallest buildings in the city, respectively. They're both located in the downtown area. The Sears Tower in the Loop and the John Hancock Center in Streeterville, right on Magnificent Mile. They were both designed by the same architectural firm, Skidmore, Owings & Merrill, and they both had the same designer and structural engineer, Bruce Graham and Fazlur Khan. When each one was completed, it was, for a time, the tallest building in the city. However, the Sears Tower remains the tallest building. Curiously, they're both missing their original names. The John Hancock Center is now officially known as 875 North Michigan, and the Sears Tower is now officially known as the Tower. They both have gift shops where you can get your kitschy Chicago merchandise, and they both offer fun and memorable experiences for both tourists and locals alike. So now let's get into the differences. Skydeck Chicago in the Sears Tower is located in the Loop, which is basically the central business district of Chicago. It's in the downtown area, but on the weekend, it's not quite as busy as it is during the week. I wouldn't quite call it dead, and there are some other landmarks around there, and you're close to other tourist attractions, so it's not like you're in the middle of the desert searching for something to do or something to eat. But 360 Chicago in the John Hancock Center is located right on Magnificent Mile, where the red carpet is rolled out for tourists. You've got many hotels located there, lots of things to do, shopping. I mean, the possibilities are nearly unlimited. Whereas the Sears Tower, there's no actual attractions located in the immediate vicinity. Moving on to food, I know a very important thing for everybody in this world. Skydeck Chicago is in the Sears Tower, which has an urban space food court. Now, this is not your average everyday grandma's food court. This is a food court with many local options, so you can try a little bit of the local flavor of Chicago without traveling too far. So it's very convenient. I personally like a lot of the restaurants that are located in urban space. Whereas at 360 Chicago in the Hancock Center, at the base of the tower, you have tourist trap restaurants like Cheesecake Factory, Benihana, and my personal favorite, a Starbucks. 360 Chicago is slightly less expensive than Skydeck, which kind of uses a rolling stock market-like pricing system, if you care about that sort of thing. Both offer experiences before you ascend in the elevator. At 360 Chicago, you got some stuff to read about the city and some pictures, some iconic type of images, but Skydeck Chicago actually has a fully immersive pop-up museum type experience. I wouldn't quite call it a museum, but I also wouldn't quite call it a pop-up. You really have to experience it for yourself. It kind of takes you on a journey through Chicago, and it immerses all your senses. You can see pictures of food, of famous celebrities from Chicago, the sports teams, the architectural icons. It really is a fun experience, and I would definitely do it again. Skydeck Chicago is located at a slightly higher elevation than 360 Chicago, and once you're there, you can see 360-degree views of the Windy City. Of course, they've got the ledge, which are the glass boxes that jut out from the Sears Tower. You can get some really nice photos there. You could look straight down and see that your feet are kind of floating above the city. Overall, it's just a really fun time. 360 Chicago has tilt, which is sort of the same thing, except you're holding on to two metal bars and it tilts out at a 30-degree angle. You can see straight down. Honestly, between the two views, I prefer the one from the ledge. The 360 view, I didn't really like the looking down from tilt. It just didn't feel like anything, you know? Walking around Skydeck Chicago, you're kind of locked in. You have to view everything through the glass. But 360 Chicago actually has Chicago's only open air skywalk. That's not quite open where you can't jump out or throw anything, but it's got sort of like a cage around it. You get some fresh air and you can hear the sounds of the city. It's a little bit different type of experience. You know, I mean, it's not the best. It's not like super memorable. When I was going through my notes, I had to remember, oh yeah, that's right, they have a skywalk. So if you care about that sort of thing, you may prefer 360. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty details. We'll start with 360 Chicago. Of course, it's located in the John Hancock Center, which was completed in 1968. And when it was completed, it was the second tallest building in the United States, just after the Empire State Building in New York City. It was the tallest building in Chicago until the completion of the Sears Tower. And like I mentioned earlier, it was designed by the architectural firm Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. It's 100 stories and over 1,100 feet tall. General admission to 360 Chicago is $30 for adults and $20 for children. If you want to include the tilt experience, that's an additional $9. And if you want to experience 360 Chicago, breathtaking views of the Windy City, and get your drink on, you know, get yourself a little taste, that's going to run you $44 with no child option. My personal thoughts on 360 Chicago, it's a really great experience. Obviously, it's not quite as high as Skydeck, but it's located right on Magnificent Mile. As a local, it just feels like something that you could easily do on a casual date night. They used to have the Signature Lounge up there as well, where you could get a drink and some light bites while looking at those epic views. That was a great spot for a first date. Unforgettable, one might say. Unfortunately, that one closed down and there are no new restaurant plans on the horizon as far as I know. When you're talking about the views from 360 Chicago, you're much closer to the lake, so obviously you can gaze upon that beautiful body of water. You can look north into Lincoln Park, west out into the city, and then of course south into the Central Business District. You basically have a view of every skyscraper in the city, including the Sears Tower, which for my money is one of the most beautiful in the world. Talking about the tilt experience, you know, I didn't hate it, but it's definitely not something I would do again unless they improved it to where you could tilt all the way down 90 degrees. But it just kind of felt like a gimmick that wasn't really worth my time and money. There's a lot of great stuff located nearby, whether you're talking things to do, restaurants, shopping. Of course, you can go to the Ralph Lauren restaurant, the Museum of Contemporary Art, and then you've got the Nike store. There's just so much to do in that small area. You could really make it a whole day experience. It's the type of thing that you feel like you can do more easily as a local. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe because I live in Lincoln Park and it's just so easy to get down to Mag Mile from there. It's just something you can do casually on a weeknight for a nice kind of date night, get some great views. And now let's talk more about Skydeck Chicago, located in the Sears Tower, which is a 110-story, over 1,400 feet tall skyscraper. When it opened up in 1973, it was the world's tallest building. It's currently the 23rd tallest in the world, but still the tallest in Chicago and the 3rd tallest in the Western Hemisphere. Sears Tower is located in the Loop in the Central Business District, so the immediate surrounding area is kind of boring if I'm being honest. Yeah, you're close to the river. If you really love architecture, then you will find a lot to see, like the Rookery Building and the Field Building and the Chicago Board of Trade Building. As far as tourist attractions, there's Millennium Park that's a short walk away. If you're looking for some good Chicago street food, you've got Luke's, there's Giordano's for deep dish. So it's not like there's nothing to do. You're not in the middle of nowhere. It's just not an experience like Magnificent Mile immediately surrounding the attraction. Like I mentioned, you do have Urban Space Chicago, which is great for local options. Don't donuts, sushi, chicken sandwiches, things like that that you can find around the city, but located in a convenient food court. Once you're up there, it's a magnificent experience. Yeah, you can't see the Sears Tower from the Sears Tower. That's probably the biggest drawback. You can see a lot though. Many of the other buildings, you can see the lake, the river, Millennium Park, Federal Plaza. Of course, you can see the Hancock Center, the Trump Tower. So many amazing buildings from that vantage point. That's where that famous Ferris Bueller scene was filmed. So you can go there and kind of recreate that situation, which is a lot of fun. Now talking about the ledge, which are the glass boxes that jut out from the building. That's included with your ticket. You don't have to pay anything additional. You do get a photo taken. That will cost you some extra dollars, but it's a really cool experience. I think you get 10, 15, 20 seconds, something like that. It's not an unlimited experience unless you're going for something else, like you're a Chicago Bears player or something and you're doing a photo shoot. Otherwise, you just have a limited amount of time. The picture that they take, it does come out very nice, and I would recommend purchasing it, especially if you got your outfit right and your haircut and everything like that, your diet's going well. As far as the view from the Skydeck ledge, it's not the best. You're looking east, so there's no skyscrapers that you're seeing. You're not looking at the lake, not looking at anything really cool. It's just kind of flat prairie type of view. That's Illinois for you. But I still would recommend doing that, especially since you don't have to pay anything extra. If you did have to pay $10, $15 extra for it, then I would maybe, consider it more deeply. But otherwise, it's definitely something you should do. The most you're gonna have to wait is maybe 15, 20 minutes to get to that. Talking about the museum experience that leads up to the Skydeck, it's a lot of fun. They have a recreation of an L train car, display with all the famous Chicago street foods, celebrities, landmarks, icons, and I would definitely recommend taking your time, getting some pictures, really learning about Chicago, because that offers you the opportunity to do so instead of just looking up and be like, whoa, pretty view me like. Skydeck is a little bit more expensive than 360 Chicago, and the pricing system kind of differs on the day and the time that you want to go. Adult tickets can be anywhere from $32 to $40, and children's tickets start at $24. Children under 3 are completely free though. As far as my personal experiences with Skydeck Chicago, I mean, just the majestic views, it's unforgettable. You're so high up in the sky. Unfortunately, you can't see the Sears Tower from the Sears Tower, so that kind of sucks. But hey, the Hancock Center is just as magnificent, so it's also a great view, and you can see so far. The Skydeck experience is really cool. You could do it more than once if you really want to. Getting that photo is pretty cool, although it is an additional fee. Then they've got videos playing and things that you can read, different facts about the city, and it kind of takes you out of your way unless you live maybe in the West Loop. So because it's in the business district, it's not the easiest to get to, but again, it's not super difficult either. If you do it during the week, then you're gonna have a lot more activity around you when you get out. And like I said, there are things to do. You've got Luke's right there, which is one of my favorite restaurants in the city, but you're not really gonna have shopping. At the base of the Sears Tower, there are other experiences like Urban Space, like Color Factory, things like that. So overall, it is really cool, and it was fun to recreate the Ferris Bueller's Day Off scene from there. You can look at that same window, see the same view from the movie. Of all the movies and TV shows associated with Chicago, that one might be the most beloved. So of the two, 360 and Skydeck, they both offer unforgettable experiences. You're not gonna regret either one. I personally love observation decks when I visit a new city. It's just something that I have to do, especially if I can find a way to do one for free or on the cheap. Signature Lounge used to be a little hack to be able to get those views and buy a drink, have some light bites, but unfortunately that one closed down, and that's definitely one of the most significant losses for Chicago in the last few years. Hopefully at some point they'll reopen. I don't see why you wouldn't. You have the real estate, just do it, bro. So between the two, which one you should go to really depends on what you're looking for. Honestly, you have to dig deep and just see, what do I wanna do? Do I wanna save money? Do I wanna stand in a glass box? Do I want an immersive museum experience? If you're going For the cheapest option, then 360 might be the answer. If you want to be around a more historically significant area, then Skydeck might be the option. If you want to recreate Ferris Bueller, then yeah, you got to go to the Sears Tower. If you want to do a lot of shopping and experiences after, then the 360 Chicago IMAG Mile might be the choice. But I can't really answer that for you. I will say again, you're going to enjoy either one. Just don't do both. Not on your trip. Maybe the next time you come back, you can do the other one and see and compare and contrast or whatever, but just don't do both of them in the same weekend. That one you probably will regret. If you're a photographer or videographer, go nuts, get photos, lots of footage. You know, just enjoy it. It's really cool. It's something sort of unique that Chicago offers to people. And you don't have to be a tourist to go to either of these observation decks. Keep that in mind. I mean, if you're a local, make sure you experience the city. Make sure you do the things. Don't just do the daily grind of going to the office or doing your work from home and going to do groceries, walking your dog. Experience the city. Love it for what it is and what it offers. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.